Hey YouTube, it's Toot here and welcome to 2018. Hopefully you had a great 2017 Christmas and are watching this video because you were lucky enough to get a copy of Rainbow Six Siege in your stocking. In this video I will take you through the first 5 things that any new player needs to know or do before setting off into the world of Siege multiplayer. Be warned, the game has been out for 2 years and there are a lot of very good players out there. For the uninitiated, Siege is a harsh game that will be unforgiving of any mistakes that you make. It's a team game, so make sure you have a headset and that you use it. You can fly solo, but you will get more out of it by working as a team. You can either hook up with randoms in matchmaking or build a squad of friends that also own the game and are willing to teach you or learn with you. Some randoms in the game can be mean-spirited, but don't let them get to you. There's also a lot of good people out there that understand we all start somewhere and can't just come straight into the game with mad crazy skills. Let's take a look at the first 5 things I recommend you do before you get into Rainbow Six Siege multiplayer. Number 1. Understand the rules of multiplayer. Siege is played by 2 teams, an attack team and a defense team, each one consisting of 5 players. Each team has unique operators available that can only be selected for their specific role, which is attack or defense. A defending operator can never be on an attack team and vice versa. There are 3 game modes, which are called Secure the Objective, Bomb and Hostage. Each game mode involves the defending team defending the objective and the attacking team trying to take the objective or eliminate the enemy team, but I prefer to be an objective player, so I always play the objective. Here is a quick overview of the 3 game modes. Secure the objective. There's an objective somewhere on the map that the attackers have to secure before the round timer expires. To secure the objective and win the round, you must stay in the room with the objective for 15 seconds without any of the defending operators being in the room contesting it. The timer will pause when contested and continue if you eliminate the operator that is contesting. If the objective is contested when the round timer hits 0, the round will continue until there are either no defenders or attackers in the room contesting the objective. Whoever is left in the room at this stage is the winning team. If the objective is not secured before the round ends, then the defenders win. You can also win the round by eliminating the other team. Secure the objective is essentially king of the hill. The second game mode is Bomb Defusal. In this game mode, there are 2 bombs on the map that the attackers must defuse. One attacker will have the diffuser, which they can drop and give to another teammate, and this diffuser must be placed in the same area as the bomb that the attackers are choosing to defuse. You only have to defuse one of the 2 bombs in multiplayer, but in Terrorist Hunt you have to defuse both bombs. Once the diffuser is placed, the defenders have 60 seconds to defuse it. The defusal process takes 5 seconds in total. The attackers do not need to stay near the diffuser, they can leave the room. It's down to the defenders to find the diffuser and stop it. However, the attackers will need to be prepared for the defenders and attempt to stop them from stopping the defusal. Once the diffuser is planted, there is no more round timer. The 60-second defusal timer is started, and once that hits 0, the attackers win the round. Again, the round can also be won by eliminating the other team, unless you are defending and the diffuser has been planted. Even if the defenders kill all of the attackers, if they don't stop that diffuser before the time expires, then the attackers will win the round due to a successful bomb defusal. And the third and final game mode is Hostage. Hostage is probably people's least favourite game mode. The defenders have to protect a hostage in a specific map location, and the attackers have to capture the hostage and lead them to a safe zone on the map. The safe zone is usually just outside of the building. This is very similar to Capture the Flag. The defenders cannot move the hostage, and when an attacker picks up the hostage, they can only use their secondary weapon, but they can drop the hostage and use their primary weapon. Again, the round can be won by eliminating the other team. However, be careful of friendly fire. If you injure the hostage, you have a limited amount of time to revive them or your team loses the round. This is the case for whichever team harms the hostage. Number 2. Understand the mechanics. In Siege, headshots are king. It doesn't matter how much armor or health you have. If you get shot in the head just once, then you are dead. The only exception to this is if you get shot by Caveira's pistol, but that's another story for when you're more advanced. Don't worry about that yet. It's vital to be sure of your aim when you are in gunfights, and keep yourself protected as much as possible. Use cover as often as you can, and make use of the leaning function to only pop your head out of cover when you feel it's right to take your shot. There are no respawns in this game, and your operator is the only one that has their special ability. More on this later. If your ability is vital to the team and you die, then the rest of the team will have to replan and success may not be guaranteed. In this game, information is the most important thing that you have in your weapon set. Knowing where your enemy are and preempting their next move is key to destroying them. Learn the way sound works in the game and have a good headset to make the most of it. Playing through the TV is okay, but a good headset will up your game massively. Number 3. Complete the situations and their goals, as well as watch the tutorial videos before buying any operators and playing Terrorist Hunt or multiplayer. By playing the situations, you will learn the basic gameplay mechanics as well as how some of the operators work. This will also give you enough renown to buy key operators, as well as teach you the basics of how to play. Renown is the in-game currency that you earn at the end of each game, whether you win or lose. By just watching the tutorial videos and playing the first 10 situations, you will unlock 6,800 renown. If you sign up to the Ubisoft Club, you get a free one-day booster that you can enable whenever you like. For 24 hours, you will earn double renown every time you play a game. The game has been out for 2 years, so there is no rush to play multiplayer, as there is little chance of only playing against noobs and having that early player advantage over anyone else. You will get destroyed if you don't know what you are doing. Just being good with a gun in Call of Duty does not cut it in Siege. Take this time to get yourself ready, be comfortable with the game, and then dive into multiplayer with the basics under your belt. Number 4. Understand the operators. Every operator in the game is unique and has a special ability to help their team. It's vital to pick the right lineup for your team to ensure you can compete against the selected abilities of the opposition. There are 20 original operators that will cost between 500 to 2,000 renown each. There are currently 16 DLC operators that have been released each season, which is every 3 months, and each new operator costs 25,000 renown each. There is an option to buy packs that include all operators from each year of DLC. Whether you pay real money for these or save renown is up to you, but wait until you know that you want to stick with the game and that you have the ability to make it worth the purchase. Generic operator stats fall into one of the following 3 categories. As I walk you through these categories, feel free to pause the screen and familiarize yourself with each operator listed. Don't expect to remember them all right now, but just get an idea of which ones fall into which categories. Category 1, 1 armor, 3 speed. These are very fast operators that don't make much noise when they're moving around the map, but the downside to this is that they cannot take much damage. Category 2, 2 armor, 2 speed. These move slower and make more noise than 3 speed operators, but they can take more damage, and there are more to choose from. And finally, category 3, 3 armor and 1 speed. These are the slowest operators that make the most noise, but they are very tanky and can take more damage than any other operators. Buy operators that have the abilities and stats that matter to you and your playstyle. For example, 3-speed operators are good for playing what's known as the roamer playstyle. This involves running around the map, basically slowing down the attackers and getting a few kills to try and whittle the attacking team down before they get to the objective. Alternatively, the 1-speed operators are very good as what's known as anchors. They would generally stay around the objective and protect that objective once the attackers finally get to them. You can learn a bit more about some of these different operators by checking out my How I Play As playlist, which continues to grow as I add more operators. However, as a starting point, I would suggest that you pick up the operators that I suggest in the very next tip. Number 5. Once you have earned all of the renown from the videos and situations, it's time to buy operators. Each of the starting CTUs has 4 operators. In each CTU, the first operator you buy is 500 renown, the second is 1,000 renown, the third is 1,500 renown, and the fourth is 2,000 renown. I'd recommend that you spend your renown like this. You are free to buy more operators, of course, but I'd recommend buying these 6 and spending your remaining 2,800 renown on weapon attachments. People say operators like Ash are good for starters. This may be true, but Ash has a very high pick rate. I'd recommend picking her up later in your Rainbow Six Siege experience, just for the fact that if you can't pick her because someone else has picked her, then at least you have other operators that you are familiar with that you can play on attack. So with the remaining 2,800 renown that you have, you should equip your operators with key attachments where available. Please note that not all attachments are available for every operator or gun. Firstly, the sights. Buy the holographic or reflex sight for defenders and buy the ACOG for attackers. You don't need a sight for bandit, his iron sights are perfect as they are. Next is the barrel. Buy yourself a flash hider or a compensator depending on your shooting style. If you like to burst fire, then I would select the flash hider. If you like to spray your weapon, then I would suggest buying the compensator. The grip, I would suggest getting the vertical grip just because this improves your recoil control. For the laser sight, I would suggest no. Always go no for the laser sight. That's the last of the tips, but what I thought I'd do is leave you with one final bonus tip, and that is that map knowledge is half of the battle in Rainbow Six Siege, and I think probably in every competitive multiplayer game. Now that you know a bit about the game, head over to r6maps.com to take a look at the different maps in the game. Use this website to learn where the objectives can be in each map, and also where the cameras are, because defenders can use these to know where you are. Use it to know where the hatches are, and which walls can be breached or reinforced. There is no substitute for in-game learning at all, but by having this open on a tablet or laptop, laptop next to you, the first few times you play a map, it can help your knowledge immensely. So those are my first 6 tips for anyone new to Rainbow Six Siege. Hopefully this is going to be useful to you. Please let me know in the comments if you found it useful as a new player. If you are an advanced player who happens to have watched this out of interest, then let me know if there's anything you think I've got wrong, or just leave comments down below to help those new players that want to read through the comments and pick up a little bit more. I will try and do a follow-up video to this, but for now I think these are the first 5 things that you should pick up before you start playing multiplayer on Rainbow Six Siege. So thank you very much for watching. If you've liked the video, then please hit the like button, drop me a comment and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all of my future videos. I do hope that you enjoy Rainbow Six Siege if you're new to it, and if you feel like it, then please feel free to fire me a message and maybe we can get together in a game and I can show you some of the things that I do in Rainbow Six Siege. I'm by no means the greatest player, mainly because of my bad aiming ability, but when it comes to knowledge and strategy, I think I can probably help a little bit with that. So by all means, shoot me a message and maybe we can play together sometime. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.